Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Outside Insider podcast here on Philly Sports Network with myself, Liam Jenkins. You know the score by now. All things Eagles related from the last 7 days, wrapped up and put inside Santa's sack. Here we go, the last show before Christmas. It's festive, it's fun, it's friendly. I've run out of words beginning with F to describe it, but we are here and I can't be more thankful for you taking the time to listen to this show. If you're not already subscribed, it would be amazing if you could. I'm not going to make you because I mainly can't, otherwise I'd at least give it a go. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube and all good podcasting platforms. And if you could leave a little review on Apple Podcasts, that would be absolutely phenomenal. But I wanted to start this show with something different today. Now you may be thinking, oh, LJ, whenever you say this, it's never different. And it is basically just a really bad relationship analogy about the Eagles. And you're right, we're not going to be going overly different. But I wanted to theme it this week because, in my opinion, the greatest Christmas movie of all time is Love Actually. Alright, now some of you are going to think, oh, LJ, what about Die Hard? Or what about Elf? Or what about The Grinch? Oh, absolute classics. But Love Actually just, it hits you in the feels of it, doesn't it? You know, it gets you a little bit soppy. It makes you want to run 500 miles up country to your ex with little cards and say, you're alright actually, aren't you? Don't leave me. Stay. Come back. Thanks. That'd be great. But on that, I was there thinking for a solid hour before today's show, how can I relate my favourite Christmas film of all time to the Philadelphia Eagles? And then it dawned on me. It's Dallas week. It is the biggest week possible in the world of Philadelphia sports. And making it even bigger somehow is the amount of hype this game is getting. Because ultimately, this game should dictate the winner of the NFC East. Now, the Eagles have to win out. They do have to go and take care of business against the Giants next week. But ultimately, it kind of starts and ends with this matchup against the Cowboys. It's at the Lincoln Financial Field. It's going to be roaring. It's going to be cold. It's going to be hostile. Dak's got a wobbly shoulder, so he might not be on top form. And this is the game where an Eagles team, having come off a run of playing some of the worst teams in the NFL, and have ultimately done some soul searching and found their identity, have a chance to finally beat a team who Peterson said today in the press conference have had their number for a while, which for me is a much better answer than guaranteeing a win when you know it's probably not feasible. Like, we like it. We like a self-aware king, and that's what we got from Doug Peterson. But I was thinking, Love Actually, Philadelphia Eagles, how many similarities could there possibly be? And then it hit me. The best narrative in Love Actually is the one where Andrew Lincoln, a.k.a. Rick from The Walking Dead, a.k.a. the man I can never remember his actual character name, he doesn't really say it. He falls in love with this girl, he marries his best mate. The girl's Keira Knightley, who wouldn't fall in love with her? And he videos their wedding, and he just focuses on her in a really creepy way. And she wants to see the wedding tape, and he's like, no, don't look at it. No, you don't want to see it. It's awful. And then she sees it and just realises he's just filmed her for a solid, 4 hours. And she's like, yo, what are you doing? He has a bit of a breakdown. She runs off who is this guy? And then on Christmas Eve, he comes to her house with the cards saying, to me, you're perfect. I love you. Everything's amazing. You are basically incredible. Shush, just pretend I'm a carol singer and laugh. And she's like, oh, I'll play along, don't worry, he's definitely not coming to the door wondering, well, that's not a carol singer, that's a radio player that's playing very loud through that, but I'll ignore that. Yeah, we'll forget logic, you snog him. And anyway, he does the little signs, it's phenomenal, it's really cute, and then she runs out and gives him a kiss. But he did that, he went all the way to her house, threw his dignity aside, threw everything away for one shot to say, hey, I love you. This is it. He put it all on the line and was like, look, I'm going to say it once. There's no consequence. You can't hear me, but I need you to know. I need you to know. After watching it for that long and imagining in my head how amazing it could be, I need you to know. Because somewhere down the line, who knows? And that for me is me and this Eagles defense. Because Jim Schwartz this weekend, I'm going to Schwartz. I'm knocking on the door and I'm saying, just, come on, all right? I've been there. I've been watching the tape from the Saints playoffs game last year where none other than Captain Cravon picked off that interception. I've seen the highs against the Chicago Bears, against the Bills, against the Patriots, against the Seahawks. I've seen how good this defense can be, and I love it. And when it works, it's fantastic. And then you've got the more creepy side of it, the bit where the girl runs away, which is basically every other game that's not those four. Like, for instance, the last 3 games, the Eagles have allowed a wide receiver to amass over 130 yards and a touchdown in each. I think they've allowed 6 touchdowns over 50 yards or more. And you've got Dwayne Haskins, a man who was sacked 26 times going into that game. They couldn't even hit him. They couldn't bring him down. This is Schwartz's last chance. This is the last chance this Eagles team has as a defense to step up to the plate against a Dallas team that has Amari Cooper, that forget Dak Prescott for a minute. We've got Amari Cooper who has over 1,000 yards already this season. You've got Michael Gallup that's averaging over 16 yards per reception. If the Eagles cannot find a way to beat this team, we may never know what's down the line. We may never know what this defense will look like, because it's going to get ripped to shreds. I think in terms of the offseason, whether Jim Schwartz comes or goes, I think at that point it's going to be a coin flip. But in terms of personnel, there's a lot of free agents. I mean, I think we can all agree there'll be a full secondary rebuild. There's going to be some more decision making in the linebacking corps especially. Like, a lot can change. But this is that game now. Schwartz has been looking back at the All-22 and he focused solely on, rotating coverages and all these disguising and trying to rock and roll safeties around and make it all fun and flirty. And in the meantime, he's just watched another team get married. He's just gone, oh, well, here we go. There's another 130-yard reception. And he's just sat filming it, watching, going, it could be so much better. It could be so much better. Yeah, he's watching like, imagine if that happened. Imagine if we stopped Terry McLaurin. And now he's having to go to his team one last time, roll out those cards and go, to me, you are perfect. I love you. You're great. Let's go and beat the Dallas Cowboys. Because if they can get pressure to Dackington of Prescott, if they can finally, bearing in mind, I think that, you have to quote me on this, but I think it was Tim McManus, said that Prescott this season, the second highest rate of pressure he's faced, came against the Eagles. If they're gonna throw the kitchen sink, if they're gonna make him uncomfortable, if you're gonna disrupt it, if you're gonna try and nullify Ezekiel Elliott and take away those receiving options, they've got a chance. But the fact is, when you give up that much to McLaurin, when you give up that much to Devontae Parker and Darius Slayton, of all people, there's cause for concern. And the Eagles have to step up now, because you cannot expect Carson Wentz to carry this team back from the brink again. It's simple. It's not fair on him. It's not fair on the offense. Like, it's amazing that Greg Ward Jr. got his first touchdown. Ward season is here. That's great. But this is an offense without any of its starting wide receivers, without its starting right tackle, without its starting running back. And Wentz is dragging it back from the edge of hell because the defense is leaving so much meat on the bone. And again, the coin has flipped. And it went from the offense unable to do anything in that stretch of 4 games where the defense was thriving to now switching. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you've got the Eagles defense struggling to get a stop. They're allowing, I think it's 50% of the time that a team scores a touchdown, the Eagles will allow points the next drive. And it just kills momentum. And it's like, just as you get going, just as you get out of hell, you're back to square one. So for once, Jim Schwartz has been watching the tape. He's been looking at it, he's been filming that wedding, imagining all these scenarios of, just what if they successfully didn't, break that coverage? What if Ronald Darby actually made a tackle on that play? What would have happened if Nate Gary didn't go flying in on a play action look and actually play with a bit more discipline there? And now he's gone over to her house after making a fool of himself and gone, I love you. To me, you are perfect. To me, this awfully inconsistent scheme where we can't get anything right is perfect. And I need you to know, alright, ahead of the biggest game of our lives, because I might not ever get this chance again with this group of players, this defines our season. Alright, I think if the Eagles can come out and get a few sacks on Prescott, hold the Cowboys to under 20 points, a lot of the criticisms that Schwartz has faced this year won't be necessary anymore. I think they'll just magically kind of vanish, they'll evaporate, click of a finger, poof, gone. Simple as that. I genuinely feel that way. But if they lay a stinker, and they lay an egg, which is the equivalent of going up to that door with all those Love Actually signs and just dropping them on the floor, going to play the carol singers on the radio, and then accidentally playing Slipknot, the husband coming out, and then beating the life out of you on Christmas Eve, we may be having a very different conversation about Jim Schwartz. If the same errors occur, if the same problems occur, which is the miscommunication in the backfield. It's the missed tackles by the secondary. It's the linebackers missing tackles in the middle of the field. It's a lack of pressure up front. There's a massive disconnect from all three areas of that defense again, and we thought they'd fixed it. We thought he'd found a way to get it going, and he just may not have, and that might be something we have to accept, but I'm not willing to yet, because I do think the Eagles will get it done. I do think they're going to beat Dallas. I think the right of the occasion, like, I mean, even in the Super Bowl, you find a way, like, when it's all on the line, and it is truly all on the line, and the season depends on it, I just think they're going to come through. I think that Jim Schwartz is going to step up. I think the secondary is going to come through big. I hopefully think Captain Cravon's going to have an impact, especially if Ronald Darby is down, but more than anything, I think they're finally going to have the breakout game they need. But that's it for the opening segment of the show. If you're on YouTube, hello, we'll give you a little wave again. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a little comment down below. Let me know what you think about the defense. If you're listening to this podcast in full, you know what's coming. This is the point now where I go, hey, listen, it's time to answer your questions. It's thank you next. Let's get it rock and rolling.